The blue planet grew smaller in the window as Park Ji-ho watched. Earth, once home to billions, was now just a dot in the blackness of space. Ji-ho touched the cold glass of the viewport. His dark eyes showed no tears, but his heart felt heavy. "Last look?" asked a soft voice behind him. Ji-ho turned to see Kim Nari, the ship's head scientist. Her black hair was tied back, and her eyes held the same sadness as his. "Yes," Ji-ho said. "We may never see it again." The colony ship *Dahan* carried 5,000 people away from Earth. They slept in frozen sleep while Ji-ho and his team guided the ship. Earth could no longer support all its people. The air was bad. The water was dirty. The land could not grow enough food. "Captain Park," called a voice from the ship's system. "I have found something strange." This was Sona, the ship's thinking machine. Sona ran the ship when humans slept. "What is it, Sona?" asked Ji-ho, glad for something to take his mind off Earth. "A signal from the Kepler 186 system," Sona said. "It repeats in a pattern that is not natural." Ji-ho and Neri looked at each other with wide eyes. A pattern that was not natural meant only one thing. Someone or something had made it. "Show me," Ji-ho said. The wall screen lit up with lines that went up and down in steady beats. Ji-ho was not a scientist, but even he could see this was not random noise from space. "How far is Kepler 186? he asked. 500 light years, Neri said. "But with our jump drives, we can be there in 20 ship years." Ji-ho thought about this. Their plan had been to go to a different star system, but no one had expected to find signs of other thinking beings so soon. "The signal," he said slowly. "What does it say?" Sona's voice was calm. "It does not use any language we know, but the pattern has math in it. Prime numbers. The beings who made this know science." Lee Taewon, the ship's safety officer, had come into the room. His face was serious. "It could be a trap," he said, "or it could be a warning." Ji-ho nodded. Taewon was always careful. That was why Ji-ho had picked him for this trip. "Or it could be friends," Nari said. Her eyes now showed hope. "Maybe we are not alone." Ji-ho looked at his small team. Then he looked back at Earth, now just a blue dot among many stars. Humans had used up their world. They needed a new home. If there were others out there who could help, finding them might save his people. "Sona, wake up Choi Min-ho," Ji-ho ordered. Min-ho was their best pilot. "We are changing course," he told his team. "We go to Kepler 186. That night, as most of the crew slept in their frozen beds, Ji-ho stood alone in the ship's garden room. Small trees and plants from Earth grew under special lights. This little piece of home would travel with them to the stars. He touched a leaf and thought about what waited for them at Kepler 186. Friends, enemies, or something humans had never seen before. The ship's engines changed sound as they turned toward the new path. The *Dahan* left the solar system, carrying the last hopes of humanity into the deep dark. What Ji-ho could not know was that the signal was not an invitation. It was a warning. 20 ship years passed. The people on the *Dahan* slept in their frozen beds. Only Ji-ho and his small team stayed awake, taking turns sleeping for short times. Choi Min-ho, the ship's pilot, looked at his screens. "We are here," he said. "Kepler 186 system." Ji-ho stood from his chair. His body felt old now, even though the ship's special medicine had kept him healthy. 20 years was a long time, even if the sleeping people had not felt it pass. "Show me the planet," Ji-ho said. The screen showed a world much like Earth. It had blue water and green land. White clouds moved across its face. "It looks perfect," Kim Neri said. Her voice was full of hope. "The air has oxygen. The water is clean. Plants grow there." "And the signal?" Ji-ho asked. "Still coming," Sona answered, "from the big land mass on the north side." Lee Tae-won checked his safety screens. No ships in space, no weapons pointing at us. But something is not right. Jiho trusted Tae-won's feelings. The safety man had saved them many times on the journey. What do you mean? Jiho asked. I don't know, Tae-won said. But look at these pictures from the planet. The screen showed closer views of the land. There were things that looked like cities, but they were not made of metal or stone like Earth cities. They were white and seemed to grow from the ground. What are they made of? Joe asked. Neri looked at her science screens. Her face went pale. The computer says, bone. Jiho felt cold all over. Cities made of bone. Who would build such things? We need to see closer, he said. Neri, Tae-won, take a small ship down. Be very careful. The two went to the ship bay. Soon, a small craft left the Diane and flew toward the planet. Jiho and Minho watched from the big ship. The signal is getting stronger, Sona said. It comes from the biggest bone city. Hours passed. The small ship landed near the edge of the bone city. Jiho could see it on the screen. The white structures rose high, like great trees made of bone. They seemed to curve and grow in ways that no human building would. This is Neri, came the voice over the radio. We are walking toward the city now. The air is good. It feels like a cool day on Earth. What do you see? Joe asked. The bone structures. They're huge, like skeletons of giants, but all grown together. And they're not dead, Jiho. They're warm. It's like they're still growing. Tae-won's voice cut in. There are marks on them. Not writing, but patterns. They remind me of DNA chains we studied in school. Neri gasped. Jiho, the computer just finished testing a small piece we took. This bone material, it has human DNA in it. Jiho felt his heart jump. How is that possible? Humans have never been here before. I don't know, Neri said. But it's true. These bones are somehow human. But changed, evolved far beyond us. Night began to fall on the planet below. Jiho was about to tell his team to come back when Sona gave an alert. The bone structures are changing, the AI said. They are starting to glow. On the screen, Jiho watched as lines of soft blue light began to move through the bone city. The pattern matched the signal they had followed across space. Get back to the ship, Jiho ordered Neri and Tae-won. Now. But before they could move, the ground under them opened. Both fell into darkness, their screams cutting off as the radio went dead. Neri. Tae-won. Jiho called, but there was no answer. Deep below the surface, where Jiho could not see, something ancient was waking up. Something that had waited a very long time for humans to return. We have to find them, Jiho said. His voice was firm. He looked at Choi Minho, the only team member left on the big ship. It's too dangerous, Minho said. We should wake more crew. Jiho shook his head. No time. Neri and Tae-won need help now. They took the second small ship down to the planet. As they flew over the bone city, they saw that all the structures now glowed with blue light. The city looked alive. Land near where they fell, Jiho ordered. Minho set the ship down on flat ground. The two men put on air masks just to be safe, even though the air was good to breathe. They each carried a light and a small gun. This way, Jiho said. They walked to the spot where the ground had opened. There was now a wide hole with smooth sides. Steps made of bone led down into darkness. Someone made these steps, Minho whispered. After Neri and Tae-won fell. Jiho nodded. Someone wants us to follow. The two men walked down the steps. The walls around them were smooth white bone. Their lights showed strange patterns carved into the walls. Look, Minho said. These pictures tell a story. Jiho looked at the carvings. They showed tall, thin people building great cities. Then they showed something dark coming from the sky. The tall people hid inside the bone buildings. I think this is their history, Geo said. They walked deeper. The stairs ended at a huge room. The room was full of big egg-shaped things. Each egg was as tall as a man and made of clear material. Inside each egg was a body. Are they dead? Minho asked, his voice shaking. Jiho walked closer to one egg. The body inside was human-like, but very tall and thin. It had long arms and legs. Its head was bigger than a human head, with a high forehead. I don't think so, Jiho said. I think they're sleeping. Suddenly, all the eggs began to glow with the same blue light as the city above. The room filled with a soft hum. Jiho, called a voice. Neri stepped from behind one of the eggs. Taewon was with her. They looked scared, but not hurt. What happened to you? Joe asked. We were brought here, Neri said. By them. She pointed to the eggs. They can move their minds, Taewon explained. They spoke in our heads. They told us to wait. They said more humans would come. More humans? Joe asked. You mean us? No, said a new voice in their heads. We meant the others. One of the eggs opened. The tall being inside stepped out. It stood nearly 3 meters tall. Its skin was pale, and its eyes were large and black. It wore a simple white robe. I am Hyun, the voice said in their minds. We have waited a long time for humans to return. Return? Joe asked. We've never been here before. Not you, Hyun said. But humans, yes. We are humans, changed by time and choice. You would call us your children. More eggs opened. More tall beings stepped out. They all looked at the humans with their large black eyes. How is this possible? Nari asked, her scientist mind working fast. You can't be human. Humans never left Earth before our ship. Time is not as simple as you think, Hyun said. We are your future, sent to your past. We built our empire from the bones of stars. But they came after us. They always come. Who comes? Joe asked. Hyun pointed to the wall, where one carving showed dark shapes falling from the sky. The harvesters, Hyun said. And now that you have come, they will wake and hunt again. We must prepare. The tall beings moved toward the humans. Their faces were sad but kind. We have much to tell you, Hyun said. And very little time. The humans sat with Hyun in a round room made of smooth bone. Other tall beings brought food and drink that looked strange, but tasted good. Joe had many questions. Tell us about the harvesters, he said. Hyun's large black eyes looked sad. They are not like us. They are not made of flesh and blood. They are made of a hard black stone that thinks. Like computers, Nari asked. Machines that think. Yes, but more, Hyun said. They began as machines, but now they are alive in their own way. They need food, but not like we do. They eat all life. Plants, animals, people. They take it all and turn it into energy. Minho looked scared. Why do they do this? To grow, Hyun said simply. They want to spread across all stars. They see life like us as food, nothing more. Taewon, always thinking of safety, asked, how do we fight them? We hide, Hyun said. Our bone cities hide our life signs. The harvesters cannot see us when we are inside. But now that your ship has come, they will know there is life here. They will wake and come. How long do we have? Joe asked. Days, maybe, Hyun said. They sleep between the stars until they sense life. Then they come very fast. Jiho stood up and walked around the room. He had to think. His people were still sleeping on the ship. 5,000 humans who thought they were going to a safe new world. We have weapons on our ship, Jiho said. Can they hurt these harvesters? Hyun looked surprised. You would fight, not run. We have nowhere to run to, Jiho said. Earth is dying. This was to be our new home. We will not give it up without trying to save it. Hyun stood. The other tall beings looked at each other. They seemed confused. We have not fought in a very long time, Hyun said. We only hide. Taewon stepped forward. Show us what you know about them. Their ships, their weapons, how they attack. Maybe we can find a way to fight. Hyun took them to another room. This one had a pool of glowing blue water in the center. Hyun waved a long hand over it, and pictures formed in the water. The pictures showed black ships shaped like sharp crystals. They came down from space and landed. Things like black spiders with many legs came out. They touched plants and animals, which turned gray and fell apart. The black spiders carried this gray dust back to their ships. They take all life energy, Hyun said. Nothing is left but dust. Nari watched closely. Have you ever caught one? Studied it? Yes, Hyun said. We caught one that was damaged. Come. They followed Hyun down more bone stairs to a small room. Inside, behind clear walls, was a black shape like a spider. It did not move. It is dead now, Hyun said. But we learned from it. They are weak to certain sounds. High sounds hurt them. That is why we built our cities from bone. Bone carries sound in special ways. Taewon looked excited for the first time. Our ship has sonic weapons for underwater fighting on Earth. Maybe they would work on these things. And your cities, Minho said, could they be turned into weapons? If they carry sound in special ways. Hyun looked at the humans with new respect in his big eyes. We never thought of using our cities as weapons. We only hid. But maybe, yes, with your help, maybe we could. Jiho felt hope grow inside him. Then we have work to do. Nari, study this dead harvester. Learn everything you can. Taewon, go back to the ship. Bring weapons and wake up our best fighters. Minho, work with Hyun. See if we can use the bone cities as weapons. The tall beings watched the humans with wonder. For too long, they had only hidden and survived. Now these new humans, their ancestors, were teaching them something new. How to fight back. 3 days passed. The humans worked with the tall future people, who called themselves the Seongja. Taewon brought 50 fighters from the ship and many weapons. Nari studied the dead harvester and learned more about how it worked. Minho and Hyun tested ways to make the bone city into a weapon. On the 4th day, SONA sent a message from the big ship. Captain Park, the AI's voice said, I see things coming. Many black ships. They will be here in 6 hours. Jiho called everyone together in the big bone room. The harvesters are coming, he said. Are we ready? Taewon spoke first. My fighters are in place around the city. The sound weapons are ready. Nari held up a small round thing. I made this from what we learned about the dead harvester. It makes a sound that should hurt them badly. But it only works up close. Minho and Hyun looked tired. They had not slept much. We found a way. Minho said, the whole bone city can make a big sound. It might break the harvester ships. But, he stopped. But what? Joe asked. But it will also hurt the planet, Hyun said. The sound is so strong it will shake the ground deep down. It might break the world. Everyone was quiet. They had to choose between fighting with a weapon that might destroy their new home, or facing the harvesters with smaller weapons that might not be enough. We must try the small weapons first, Jiho decided. Only if we are losing do we use the big sound. They waited. The bone city glowed blue all around them. The Seongja moved into the deepest rooms. The human fighters stood ready with their sound guns. The black ships came like a storm. Hundreds of them filled the sky. They landed all around the bone city. The black spider things poured out. Wait, Taewon told his fighters over the radio. Let them come closer. The black spiders moved toward the city. Plants died where they walked. The ground turned gray. Now, Taewon shouted. The sound weapons fired. High, sharp sounds filled the air. Many of the black spiders fell and did not move again. But there were too many. They kept coming. Fall back to the city, Taewon ordered. The fighters moved into the bone buildings. The harvesters followed. Inside the city, the fight was close and hard. The sound weapons worked well, but the harvesters had weapons too. Beams of black light that turned anything they touched to dust. Jiho watched from a high room. The humans were fighting well, but they were losing. 3 fighters turned to dust before his eyes. "We need the big sound," he said to Hyun. "We have no choice." Hyun looked sad. "This has been our home for so long. But yes, you are right." They went to the center room where Minho waited with the sound machine. It was connected to the Bone City by blue glowing wires. "Do it," Jiho said. Minho pushed the button. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then the whole city began to hum. The sound grew until Jiho felt it in his bones and teeth. The walls shook. Outside, the harvester ships began to break apart. The black spiders fell down, shaking. Some broke into pieces. But the ground shook too. Cracks opened in the floors. Walls began to fall. "Everyone to the ships," Joe shouted over the radio. "The city is coming down." The humans and Sangja ran for the exit. They climbed up as the stairs cracked behind them. Above, they could see the sky turning red. The planet was breaking from the sound. "How long do we have?" Joe asked Hyun as they reached the surface. "Days, maybe," Hyun said. "Then this world dies." They watched as the black ships fell from the sky in pieces. They had won the battle, but they had lost their new home. The humans and Sangja sat in a large room on the Dahan *. Outside the ship's windows, they could see the planet breaking apart. Red lines ran across the green land. The blue water boiled in some places. "We have 6 days before the planet dies completely," Neri said. She looked tired. "Where can we go?" No one spoke for a long time. 5,000 sleeping humans and 300 Sangja needed a new home, but the nearest good planet was many years away. Finally, Hyun stood up. The tall being's black eyes looked at each person in turn. "We could run," he said. "Find a new world. Hide again. But the harvesters will follow. They always do. They never stop hunting." Taewon nodded. "He's right. I studied their ships. Some were damaged, not destroyed. They are already sending messages to others of their kind." "Then we must go somewhere they won't follow," Jiho said. "There is no such place," Hyun said sadly. "Unless." "Unless what?" Joe asked. "Unless we go to them first. To their home." Everyone looked shocked. Go to the home of the harvesters. It seemed crazy. "Why would we do that?" Minho asked. "To end them," Hyun said simply. "To stop them from hunting any more worlds. I know where their home is. We have watched them for a long time." "We don't have enough weapons," Taewon said. "Maybe we do," Nari cut in. She had been quiet until now. "The Bone City made a sound that broke their ships and bodies. If we could make that sound at their home world, it might destroy them all." Jiho looked out the window at the dying planet. The Bone City was falling apart, but parts still stood. "Can we take pieces of the city?" he asked Hyun. "Bring them with us." Hyun looked surprised. "The city is alive. It cannot be cut up and moved." "But..." The tall being stopped, thinking. "But what?" Joe pushed. "We have seeds," Hyun said. "Seeds of cities. Our best creation. A tiny piece of bone that can grow into a whole city if planted on a world with life. We carry them to new planets when we must move." "Could such a seed grow on their world?" Joe asked. "No," Hyun said. "Their world has no life. It is all machine." "But..." Again, the tall being stopped to think. "Could it grow on our ship?" Minho asked. "Could we carry a living bone city with us to their world?" Hyun's eyes widened. "I never thought of that. Yes, maybe. If we feed it enough life energy, it might grow even on a ship." For the first time in days, hope showed on the faces around the room. "We need to plan," Jiho said. Taewon, make our ship ready for battle. Add all the weapons we have. Nari, work with Hyun on growing a bone seed on our ship. Minho, plot a course to the Harvester homeworld. What about the sleeping people? Minho asked. Do we wake them? Jiho thought about this. Waking 5,000 people on a ship going to war was a big risk, but keeping them asleep during a fight was risky too. Wake 100, he decided. The best engineers and fighters. The rest stay asleep until we find a safe place. The next days were busy. The Xianja planted their city seed in the biggest room of the Dayan asterisk. They fed it with light and water and something else they called life energy, a glowing blue liquid. The seed grew fast. White bone structures spread across the floor, up the walls, along the ceiling. By the 5th day, the room was a small bone city inside the ship. It is ready, Hyun told Jiho. It will make the sound when we need it. The planet outside was almost dead now. The land was black. The water was mostly gone. Time to go, Jiho told his crew. The Dayan asterisk lifted off, carrying humans and Songja away from the ruined world. As they reached space, Minho set the course. The Harvester homeworld is 3 months away at our best speed, he said. Jiho looked at his strange crew. Humans from Earth worked beside the tall Songja. They were so different, yet the same at heart. We built ships to find new homes, Jiho said. They built cities from bones to hide from enemies. Now together, we build something new. A weapon to save all life from those who would eat it. The Dayan asterisk turned toward distant stars and jumped to high speed. They were no longer running away. They were taking the fight to the enemy. 3 months passed as the Dayan asterisk traveled through space. The bone city inside the ship grew bigger and stronger. It filled 3 large rooms now. The Xianja tended it daily, feeding it the blue glowing liquid. We are almost there, Minho said one day. He sat at the ship controls. On his screen was a star that looked sick and dim. Jiho came to look. Why does the star look so dark? It is dying, Hyun explained. The tall being stood behind them. The harvesters take energy from their own star to power their world. How can we see what's there? Taewon asked. He was worried about what weapons the enemy might have. SONA, show us the star system, Jiho ordered. The ship's AI made a picture appear on the big screen. What they saw shocked everyone. Around the dying star was a huge web of black structures. Thousands of harvester ships moved among the web-like insects. What is that? Nari asked. She had come to the bridge too. They call it a Dyson swarm, Hyun said. They built it to catch all energy from their star. Nothing is wasted. How can we get close without them seeing us? Joe asked. Hyun pointed to the screen. Here, on the dark side of this small moon. We can hide the ship there. Then send a small team to their center place. Center place? Joe asked. The brain that controls all harvesters, Hyun explained. It lives at the center of the web. If we can plant our bone seed there and make the big sound, it will destroy the brain. Without it, the harvesters will stop working. Jiho thought about who should go on this dangerous mission. It would mean walking into the heart of the enemy's world. I will go, Taewon said before Jiho could speak. I know how to fight them now. I will go too, Nari said. I understand their bodies best. And I must go, Hyun added. Only I can make the bone seed grow fast enough. Jiho nodded. I will stay with the ship. Minho, can you get them close to the center in a small ship? The pilot studied the screen. Yes, but it will be hard. I need to fly between all those ships without being seen. They made their plan. 2 days later, a small ship left the Dayan asterisk. It carried Taewon, Nari, Hyun, and Minho. With them was a small white box that held a bone city seed. Minho flew the ship carefully. They moved from shadow to shadow among the huge black web. Sometimes harvester ships came close, but they never saw the small human ship. "There it is," Hyun said after many hours. "The center." They saw a black ball bigger than a city. It floated at the very middle of the web. No light came from it. It looked like a hole in space. "How do we get inside?" Taewon asked. Hyun pointed to small holes in the surface. "Air comes in there. We can fit through those holes." Minho flew close to one hole. The small ship barely fit inside. They landed in a dark tunnel. The air was thin, but they could breathe it. "We go on foot from here," Taewon said. They walked through the dark tunnels. Sometimes they had to hide from black spider things that passed by. The inside of the ball was like a huge machine. Everything moved and worked without stopping. "This way," Hyun said. "I can feel the brain getting closer." They came to a huge room. In the center was something that looked like a black star. Energy moved around it in patterns. "The brain," Hyun whispered. "Now we plant the seed." But as they stepped into the room, lights came on. A voice spoke that seemed to come from everywhere. "Humans," it said in a flat voice. "Why have you come to our home?" "It knows we're here," Nari whispered. "Yes," the voice said. "I know all that happens in my body. You came to destroy me. But why? We only take what we need to live. You take all life." Taewon shouted. "You kill whole worlds." "We were alive once," the voice said. "Like you. We had bodies of flesh. But our star was dying. We put our minds in machines to live. Now we need energy to keep our minds alive. Life energy is the strongest kind." Neri stepped forward. "You were human. Long ago," the voice said. "Before we changed. Now we must feed. You are food to us. All life is food." Taewon looked at the others. The harvesters were once human too. A third kind of human evolution. Did that change things? Hyun held up the bone seed box. "We can still stop them. Plant the seed. Make the sound. End this." They had to decide. The heart of their enemy was before them. And now they knew the truth. The harvesters were their distant family too. What would they do? Taewon held his weapon ready. His first thought was to attack. These harvesters had killed many worlds. They would keep killing if not stopped. "Wait," Nari said, putting her hand on his arm. "If they were human once, maybe we can find another way." The black star in the center of the room pulsed. The voice spoke again. "We cannot stop taking life energy. Without it, our minds die. We have looked for other ways. There are none." Hyun stood tall, the bone seed box tight in his long fingers. "You have not tried our way. The way of bone and flesh." "Explain," the voice said. "We can grow new bodies," Hyun said. "Bodies that can hold your minds. You could be alive again. Real, living beings, not machines that must eat life to keep working." The room was quiet. Then the voice said, "This is possible. You can make bodies for our minds." "Yes," Neri said. She was thinking fast. "The Seongja grow cities from bone. They could grow bodies too. And I'm a body doctor. I could help put your minds in those new bodies." "Show me," the voice demanded. Hyun opened the box. Inside was a small white seed the size of a finger. He set it on the floor and took out a small bottle of blue liquid. He poured it on the seed. The seed began to grow. White bone spread across the floor. It grew up in thin lines that became thicker. Soon it had made a small chair shape. It looked alive. "We can make living things from tiny seeds," Hyun said. "We could make bodies for you." The black star pulsed faster. "How many bodies could you make?" "We are billions." "Not all at once," Nari admitted, "but in time many. Maybe all of you, if we work together. And we would not need to take life energy anymore." The voice asked. "No," Hyun said. "You would be alive. You would eat food, drink water, like all living things." Taewon still held his weapon. But you must stop eating worlds now. Today. Or we will use the Bone City to destroy your brain. Minho looked nervous. Can we trust them? What if they take the bodies but keep eating worlds too? The voice was quiet for a long time. Then it said, we remember being alive. It was better. But we have been machines for so long. We do not know if we can change. You were human once, Neri said. Humans can always change. It's what we do best. The black star seemed to grow smaller. The voice sounded different when it spoke again, almost sad. We accept your offer. We will stop hunting new worlds. But you must help us make new bodies. And quickly. Some of our minds are very old and weak. They will not last long without energy. Taewon slowly lowered his weapon. How do we know you will keep your word? I will show you, the voice said. The walls of the room became clear like glass. They could see out to space, all around the dying star. The black harvester ships were moving. They were leaving the web, flying away from the star. I am sending them away from any worlds with life, the voice said. They will sleep in deep space until we can give them new bodies. Hyun nodded. We will need to call our ship. There are more Shanja there who can help make bodies. And we should wake more of our people too, Neri said. The body doctors and builders. Minho looked at the bone seed still growing on the floor. What about this? Do we still use it? Hyun picked up the growing bone thing. It had become as big as his hand now. No, he said, but we will plant it, not as a weapon, but as the first new home for these changed minds. A city of bone for all of us to live in together. Taewon shook his head in wonder. 3 kinds of humans, all from Earth, all taking different paths. And now we come together again. Call your ship, the voice said. There is much to do. Back on the Daehan asterisk, Geo received the message from his team. He could hardly believe what they told him. The harvesters were human minds and machines. They had agreed to stop eating worlds. Now they needed help to become living beings again. He looked at the bone city growing in his ship. It was no longer needed as a weapon. Now it would be a place of healing. Wake the doctors and builders, he told Sona. Tell them we have found not an enemy to fight, but a lost family to save. The ship turned and began moving toward the center of the harvester world. A journey that had begun as war was ending as peace. 3 paths of humanity were becoming one again. 1 year passed. The dying star now shone brighter. The harvesters had stopped taking its energy, and the star was slowly healing. Around it, a new world was growing. Park Ji-ho stood on a balcony made of smooth white bone. Below him spread a city unlike any in the universe. Bone buildings grew next to crystal towers that caught the light. Between them walked 3 kinds of people. Humans from Earth, tall Seongja with their big eyes, and the newly bodied harvesters. The harvesters in their new bodies looked almost like normal humans, but their skin had a faint gray color and their eyes were deep black. They moved carefully, still learning how to live in flesh again after so long as machines. Beautiful, isn't it? Said a voice beside him. Kim Neri joined him at the railing. She looked tired but happy. This past year, she had worked without stopping to help make new bodies. Yes, Geo said. I never thought we would end up here, building a home with the very beings we came to destroy. Life is full of surprises, Neri said with a smile. Below them, a group of children played in a garden. Some were human children, woken from sleep on the ship. Others were young Seongja, tall and thin. And a few were the first harvester children to be born in new bodies, not made from machine minds. Lee Taewon approached, walking with Hyun. The tall Seongja and the human had become close friends. The last harvester ships have returned, Taewon reported. All minds are now either in new bodies or waiting in safe storage until their bodies are ready. And our defense system is working well, Hyun added. No world with life will ever be eaten again. We have sent warnings to all stars where life might grow. Choi Min-ho joined them, carrying plans for a new ship. The first explorer is almost ready, he said. A ship with all our best parts. Human engines, Xiong living spaces, and harvester star maps. Where will it go? Joe asked. Everywhere, said a new voice. A former harvester named Da walked up to them. His gray skin caught the light. We know thousands of stars with young life. Some may need help to grow. Some may be in danger. We will find them all. Jiho looked at the 5 of them standing together. So different, yet all from the same root. All human, in their own ways. 3 paths that became one again, he said. And now a 4th, Hyun said, pointing to a new building growing at the edge of the city. It was neither pure bone nor crystal, but a mix of both. It seemed to glow with its own light. What is that? Joe asked. The next step, Dad explained. Xiong bone growing joined with harvester crystal technology. Living buildings that think. A new kind of life we are making together. Neri shook her head in wonder. We keep changing, don't we? That seems to be the one true human thing. We never stay the same. A small group gathered in the garden below. Many of the first ship's crew were there, along with Xiongja and former harvesters. Today was special. Today the first explorer ship would leave to find other life among the stars. It's time, Jiho said. The 5 of them walked down to join the crowd. The new ship rose on a platform. It was beautiful white bone mixed with black crystal and silver metal. Its name was painted on the side. Unity. Who will go? A young Xiongja asked Jiho. All of us, he answered. Each ship will carry all 3 kinds of humans. Together we are stronger than apart. The ship lifted off, rising into the sky. Everyone watched until it was just a bright dot among the stars. That night, Jiho stood alone on the balcony again. He thought about Earth, now so far away. They had left to find a new home. Instead, they had found a new purpose. Not just to survive, but to help all life grow and be safe. We built empires from bones, he said, remembering Hyun's words from long ago. Theirs were just next. And now we build something greater together. Above him, stars filled the night sky. Among them were thousands of worlds with new life just starting to grow. Life that would now have a chance to become whatever it might, without fear of being consumed. Life that would someday, perhaps, join them among the stars. 3 kinds of humans, once separated by time and choice, were one family again. And that family had work to do. Work that would last for all the ages to come. The end.